So, you're here to learn about Laevatain, including how to build her, what her team can be, and also learn some optimal rotations to maximize your damage output. As a guy that has Laevatain carry me fully through every content, you're here in the right place. Welcome to my complete Laevatain guide. I'll be including as many things that I can for you that you may not have known to best help you maximize the character. I'll be covering all characters once I test them and such, so do drop a follow, that'll mean a lot to me. With the yap out the way, let's jump right in and learn more about our Sunare Wild Laevatain. Do use the timestamps if you're here for something specific. To start us off with the conclusion, Laevatain is actually a versatile damage dealer. While that's the case, she actually excels more in AoE scenarios because she can convert all heat inflictions on multiple enemies into multiple melting flame stacks at the side of her HP bar, and that is her core mechanic. You want to get 4 stacks of melting flame in order to activate her enhanced skill, and upon landing the final hit of the skill, you would consume all 4 stacks. This enhanced skill is basically the same normal skill, except you add a big extra hit at the end. This extra hit will regenerate massive amounts of energy for Laevatain. Doing this will allow you to get her ultimate quickly, which is the main source of her damage output. During her ultimate, all of her attacks are boosted significantly, which is why you want to get to her ultimate as quickly as you can. So the most important part that decides how much damage Laevatain can do will pretty much be based on how often you can get her ult, which is decided by how often you can use her enhanced skill, and to get her enhanced skill, you need to gain multiple melting flames consistently. In order to get more melting flames, she needs your team to land multiple stacks of heat infliction and converting them all to melting flames by landing a final strike. And for those newer players that may not fully understand what heat infliction is, here's a quick explanation for that. Do skip ahead if you already understood this. You see, there are 4 elements in the game, namely heat, cryo, electric, and physical. Each of these elements have their own natural arts, which is basically a mark that you can put on enemies by using different character skills or combos. So for heat, the natural arts is heat infliction. Think of this as just a mark or status you put on enemies. This mark does nothing at all at first, but you can either stack more of the same arts together, or you can combine different arts to gain different effects. So for example, if you apply an extra heat infliction on an enemy that already has one, you stack these heat infliction together and deal an extra heat damage called heat burst. And it's just an extra heat damage, there's nothing else. However though, you can stack up to 4 heat infliction at once, so if you keep on stacking, you'll keep on dealing heat burst. Now instead of stacking the same element natural arts, what if you would inflict a different one? Here's an example. Inflicting a different element natural arts onto an enemy with heat infliction will turn it into the combustion status. This combustion status is basically a heat damage over time, and that's a whole different effect compared to when you stack the same natural arts together. This is called an arts reaction, and there are multiple different ones based on how you combine different natural arts. For another example, a non-nature natural arts combined with heat infliction after will turn into the corrosion status instead. The corrosion status reduces elemental resistance on enemies, which is huge for getting you more damage. Now that you understand that, it's time to dive deeper into each of her kit. Her full basic sequence here consists of 5 hits, with the final strike dealing the most damage. Though as you should know, the normal basic sequences are used more as a way to gain SP or trigger some sort of combo. They don't do too much damage. Speaking of SP, her skill deals damage in a small area, and she gains 1 stack of melting flame. If she has 4 stacks of melting flame as seen to the side of her HP bar, this skill is enhanced. This enhanced skill is where Laevatain will perform 1 extra attack at the end during the skill. You have to land this additional attack for you to consume all melting flames and for its effect to take place. If you say use her combo before she lands this hit, she'll actually cancel her skill, and you don't get the additional attack to even happen. So make sure you don't blindly spam combos. As for its effect, this additional attack will forcibly trigger combustion on enemies, which as mentioned, it's a fire element damage over time. This actually triggers Laevatain's best set effect, so it is crucial to land this hit. Not only that, landing this additional hit will restore massive amount of energy for Laevatain, and it is the main core of Laevatain's gameplay. To get 4 melting flames, use enhanced skill, gain massive energy to spam all. Thankfully, she has a few talents that help her gain melting flames. Her first talent, Scorching Heart, allows her to absorb heat infliction after the controlled operator's final strike or finisher hits the enemy. You immediately utilize the final strike part to activate this effect. Every stack of heat infliction converts into 1 stack of melting flame on Laevatain, and you only can hold up to 4 at a time. So that means there's no point in stacking more heat infliction once you get to 4. Use her enhanced skill to consume them. On top of that, she also ignores 20 heat resistance from enemies the moment she hits 4 stacks of melting flames, which is a very valuable damage increase. Next off, her combo here also helps her with gaining melting flame stacks. The combo triggers when the enemy suffers combustion or corrosion. That means you want allies that can apply this effect for sure. The combo will attack by erupting fire beneath any enemies around you that has combustion or corrosion on them. It actually has some good range to it. As long as the skill hits the enemy, Laevatain gains 1 stack of melting flame and also gains some ultimate energy per enemy hit. Combine this combo with her enhanced skill, you get damn near half of her ult just from using each of them once. Very handy. Moving up next is her ultimate, which is the biggest source of her damage. Her ultimate lasts for 15 seconds, which basically enhances her entire basic attack sequence. During her ult as well, her basic attack sequence 3 will also now apply heat infliction, which is why during her ultimate, she actually very consistently lands heat infliction, making it much better against AoE scenarios, but also beneficial for single target situations too, and allows you to get melting flames much easier. The final part about her kit is her second talent, which provides you with very high damage reduction and some healing if your HP do drop below 40%, very helpful for some tough boss fights. Now that we understand her entire kit, let's jump straight into her teams and combos. To start us off, she has 2 best teams. The first one is best at fighting one enemy, which consists of Laevatain, Antal, Wolfguard, and Ardelia. The second one is best at fighting AoE scenarios or just exploration, which consists of the same team, but it'll be Akekuri instead of Antal. The reason behind this is Antal is able to provide incredibly valuable heat damage amp and even heat susceptibility debuff that is very consistent and has lengthy uptime. His skill lands the susceptibility debuff that lasts for a full 60 seconds. But the caveat here is he can only apply this effect on one enemy at a time. So naturally, that is why that team would excel versus only one enemy instead of multiple. Akekuri instead though is just better at landing heat infliction and regaining you SP. But she lacks the various damage boosting that Antal could bring, so there's the pros and cons. I'll show you combos on both teams, so do follow along to master her gameplay loop. With that said, let's start with the first team. You want to start with Antal's skill and Wolfguard's skill. Only Wolfguard lands heat infliction here. Then use Antal's and Wolfguard's combo. Antal will inflict 1 heat infliction and Wolfguard will land 1 more. Now you have a total of 3 as shown with the outer circle of the fire icon beside the enemy's HP. Next, use Laevatain's full basic sequence twice. The first one absorbs and converts all 3 heat inflictions into her own melting flame stack. The second basic sequence will trigger Ardelia's combo. Use that and you will apply corrosion based on Ardelia's effect, and that'll get you more damage increase while also triggering Laevatain's combo. Her combo gets you your final melting flame stack, so go ahead and use her enhanced skill next. This gets you massive energy, and doing it twice with a proper build will guarantee that you get your ultimate even if you start from 0. During her ultimate, you want to start with a few slashes, then use Antal's ult before you use your last basic hit that hits the hardest. The reason here is that Antal's ult provides Laevatain with heat damage amp, but only for 12 seconds, while Laevatain's ult goes for 15 seconds. So the solution here is to just slash a few times during her ult, then use Antal's ult to boost at least the hardest hitting final basic hit from Laevatain, and from then on it should last long enough to boost the rest of Laevatain's ult duration. During her ult, you're free to use your combos and even use Ardelia's skill to convert corrosion into art susceptibility, but only do that if you have enough SP to use Laevatain's enhanced skill when you have max melting flames. After that, you want to keep in mind to potentially save some melting flames if possible at the end. If it's not though, just slash away. If you're able to save some melting flames, her next rotation can start with a free enhanced skill, and you get your ult with only 1 quick rotation, and that is how you play the best single target Laevatain team. Next, here's the combo for the second team. It's honestly the same thing nearly. Start with Akekuri's skill, which lands 1 heat infliction, then Wolfguard's combo, which does the same, then do Wolfguard's skill, and now you have 3 heat inflictions. Then do the same double full basic sequence with Laevatain, trigger Ardelia, trigger her own combo, get max melting flames, go enhance skill, and get your ult guaranteed within 2 rotations. This team does better against multiple enemies, and it's actually recommended to use this team instead to do your daily farming in most dungeons with multiple enemy spawns. And that'll be all for the team section. I hope you learned something. Let's move on now to our builds. You see, in order to achieve all that I've provided in the example, you need to set up a specific build on the whole team, especially for some key players. First of all, do go for the hot work set, which gets you insane heat damage bonus after landing combustion, very valuable for Laevatain. As for gears, make sure to choose the right ones as I show on screen here. The hot work set gloves should have intellect and strength as the stats provided, since those two are the highest base stat for Laevatain, and basically provide her with the most stats the higher they are. You will realize her armor here is also quite specific. It is the only armor that provides ult gain efficiency and also the perfect intellect and strength boosts. This is the perfect gear for Laevatain, especially with the ult efficiency bonus guaranteeing your ult uptime for Laevatain consistently. Given how important it is to have a stable ult uptime, even the rest of your team matters. Most importantly, Antal here will need the Eternal Zero Knight set with the same armor as Laevatain. Absolutely every single piece of gear on Antal provides ult gain efficiency, and that is how you can set it up so both Laevatain and Antal have their ults consistently enough to work with each other perfectly. It is beautiful. beautiful. As for the best weapons, obviously her own is the best. But as for the alternatives, the Battle Pass 6-star Umbral Torch come in as a solid second. Otherwise, it is the White Knight Nova Sword. Anything else are really much less ideal, so I do recommend going for one of the above. And honestly, try your best to just snag her signature. It is worth its value. Do note that each of these weapons come with their own kind of substat bonuses, as you see here. These substat bonuses can't really be changed, but you want to equip an essence on your weapon with the same exact substat bonuses in order to upgrade all of these substats. This is where the RNG for gearing comes in at Arknights Endfield. You want to farm the perfect essence via farming Energy Alluvium. You can check where to farm based on which weapon you have. It's somewhere in the UI of Energy Alluvium. As you farm, you may get random stats that's not exactly perfect, but once you do get the perfect one, you finally want to equip it on your weapon and upgrade them. By upgrading them, you'll unlock higher total nodes activated for all these substats, and the higher they are, the better the substats or boost you gain on this weapon. Do try and aim for at least level 6 on the first two and max out the last one if you can. As for potentials, the most valuable one is potential 4 and 5, which makes it not too wise to go for, especially for low spenders or free to plays, because it's impossible to have saved enough for it. First of all, her first, second, and third potentials are mostly slight quality of life improvements and slight damage upgrades. The fourth and fifth one does open up to different gameplay for her. However though, even if you're a whale, I do recommend against going for full dupes on Laevatain specifically, because while potential 4 reduces your energy cost and allows for 1 rotation ults, and potential 5 providing more damage to your ult with extended duration, they do not make Laevatain do way too much more damage that it would convince me to go all in. And I think there might be someone else that maybe we're full duping for. The game's just released, you never know, right? But hey, if you really love the character though, go crazy. And that is all for my complete Laevatain guide. I tried my best to combine my own testings and what I found from the great world of the internet and presented them to you. I hope I helped you out. And yep, do drop me a follow if you like guides like these. I'll be making some more. And that is all. Take care.